in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted some.
Hello everybody and welcome in. It's Sunday morning. Hope everybody's having a fantastic final day of the weekend. Let us help you out a little bit with some absolutely fantastic racing action here, presented by WSR Porsche Cup. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the hottest, the baddest, the fastest, and the most reputable Porsche Cup in Gran Turismo 7 is back on your screens here today for round 3. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, we're at DragonTrail Seaside today. So we're just jumping up into the lobby here, and we're going to go get our first look at what our guys have to offer today. Payme, what's up, my guy? King Kong back at it. You're too kind. You really are too kind, my guy. Hope you're having a fantastic day. All right. So every 2 weeks we have these amazing Porsche races here at GT45 Gaming, again presented by WSR Porsche Cup. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and we're doing our Pro-Am division here. So they have essentially 4 divisions running here at WSR Porsche Cup. They have the Elite Division, Top Split, and then they have the Pro-Am Division, Split B, which is what we're covering here today, and then they have a AM Division, which is Split C, which is covered by, I believe, Urban Pirate, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have an Academy Series, which isn't live streamed, I don't think, at the moment currently, but I could be wrong with that. We do have 4 streamers now, so we got lots of familiar faces here. So the splits change from round to round too, and I don't fully understand their process yet, but I'm learning as I'm going here with these guys, and they have got an incredible setup going behind the scenes here at WSR Porsche Cup. So some of the drivers bounce around from lobby to lobby, round to round, depending on, I'm not sure if it's points or overall finishing position in the races, or if it's a time difference thing. I'm not 100% sure how it really fully works out, but it makes for an intense series, and yeah, just a great setup behind the scenes here. So first and foremost, it's an honor and privilege as always to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to have you viewing and watching from home. This will be a family-friendly broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about DragonTrail Seaside for a minute, and then we'll go, actually, let's talk about the race settings here real quick first. I think that makes more sense. I just gotta go track them down here again. I can never seem to remember them off the top of my head. Come on. So how's everybody doing today? I hope we all have had a great weekend. Alright, so. Oh, no, that's not the right one. There we go. Alright, again, so we are racing the GT3 Porsche 911 RSR 2017 version. The Academy is running the GT4 Cayman Porsche version. It's a 10-minute qualifier. The feature race today, I believe, is 18 laps, and it'll be followed up by, if I'm not mistaken, an 8-lap sprint race today. BOP's on. There's no tuning. There's heavy damage model here. The drivers start with 45 liters of fuel. The fuel and tires are off during qualifying. Random weather. Softs and mediums are required during the race, of course, as well, in the feature race. So the drivers will have to make a pit stop during the feature race. Tire wear is 3 times, and our fuel consumption is 1. Soft tires are the tires that we use in the sprint race. No fuel, no tire wear is basically just a all for one for all style of race. So the sprint race typically tends to be much spicier here at Porsche Cup than the feature race, but the feature race needs to be more calculated. There's a pit strategy involved, and of course there's fuel and tire wear involved. So we're lagging a little bit. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Good afternoon, evening, Mr. GT45 Gaming, and everyone else. How you doing, Stuart? Hope you're doing fantastic. Nick coming in with that thumbs up on the stream there as well. So let's talk about DragonTrail real quick while we have a couple of minutes to do so. Alright, a little bit of a track map here for everybody. We'll just shut that off so you guys and gals can see it. So, DragonTrail Seaside. This is the layout of DragonTrail Seaside. Map provided by our special operations administrator, here at GT45 Gaming, Miss Devious. So much love to Miss Devious. And she went really all in on this track map. She really dug deep in some Croatian history and realized that there's some big dragon mythology in Croatian history. So, based that the fact that this track, DragonTrail Seaside, is called DragonTrail and it's in Croatia, we went with a little spin-off on some ancient mythology with this track map. So let's talk about it real quick here before we start qualifying here today. On the left hand side of the track outline, right in the center, you'll see a little blue dot with a little white arrow. That arrow is pointing towards the top of the track map. That is our start finish line. That is the direction that we are going to be running our track here today. So let's take a little walk through DragonTrail Seaside. You come up a straightaway and you come into a high-speed kink, full throttle kink, turn 1, we call that Holics. That is what would be the dew claw, for example, on a dog or a cat. That takes us into turns 2 and 3 of the first chicane here at DragonTrail Seaside, and that is Hollow Bones. So once you get through there, you got a little bit of a straightaway, and then you got a kink, and that is Brood, and then that takes us into the high-speed right-hander, which is Dragon's Wing. Now, the brave drivers will full send it, and the ones that are cautious will do a little lift going into that corner, and then that takes us into Hailstone. Now, in dragon mythology, typically dragons attacked under cover of thunderstorms, and hail was one of those things that was provided in those thunderstorms to cover a dragon's attack, per se, based off ancient mythology. So, Hailstone is, of course, corner number 6. That takes us into Draciana, which again is just a little kink, and then that takes us into the famous uphill S's here at Seaside, and that is the Dragon's Lair, and then that takes us in, of course, to the famous corner here. So that takes us down out of that little kink again called Thunder, and then that takes us into Hydra. Great passing opportunities coming into this corner at the bottom right hand side of the track map. From there, that takes us down a little straightaway into the Dragon's Breath. And why the Dragon's Breath? Well, because that takes us into what we like to call it as the Death Chicane, or the Chicane of Death, is now called the Feeding, ladies and gentlemen. And that is where our sacrifices here are made to keep the dragons at bay for our Croatian people. So plenty of race cars get ruined in that sector of the racetrack every time we see cars race this race. I assume it's going to be no different here today, no matter how talented these drivers are. That then takes us into Slumber, the Dragon's Belly, aka so to speak, and that is where our penalty serving zone is, and then that leads us into the final couple corners, Chimera and turn 19, Caudal Fin Struts. And what that is, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of a history lesson here for everybody today. Essentially, that's a rudder on a bird, so it's the same thing based off of ancient mythology in dragon sense. There's an extra set of feathers underneath the wings that act as a rudder, so the dragons can steer better under high-speed conditions in the air. So a little bit of fun here with the DragonTrail Seaside track map for everybody today. And again, compliments to Miss Devious here at GT45 Gaming. She's a legend. So how's everybody doing today? We got alerts coming out the wazoo. Let's catch up. All right. We've got D.90 coming in the house with the thumbs up. We got Stuart with the share, the extra support. Appreciate you guys. We got Joe Mercier coming in with that thumbs up on the stream as well. Multiple shares coming from Stuart. Absolute legend, my guy. Let's get a hashtag Stuart up in the chats for showing that huge love here on the page. D.90 legend there. D.90 on Facebook Gaming. Another legendary commentator in his own right, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go over there and say hi. Paymate coming in with that thumbs up on the stream as well. For some reason, the alert didn't come in. Welcome, everybody. Hanging out on YouTube as well. Alright, so we're just waiting for qualifying to start, ladies and gentlemen. And once that happens, it's showtime. Now, let me tell you, these Porsche drivers are incredibly fast. Do not let this Pro-Am fool you. This is Split 2, ladies and gentlemen. These drivers in this quote-unquote Pro-Am lobby are maybe a tenth or two of a second slower than the Split 1 lobby above them, which of course does hold very high caliber drivers in of course the World Tour caliber, and does compete live in World Tour events. So do not take anything away from these drivers on the racetrack today just because it's a Pro-Am split. And I gotta tell you, in my commentary history, in my career so far as a creator and a commentator, the Pro-Ams always put on the best show. So expect a good show here tonight. And that's just from experience. Got followage coming up in the chat here. What is that OG time? I'm not getting any of my stuff. We'll do a little refresh here and see if it's going to cooperate with us. Come on, play nice now, Facebook. We just want to see all that love. Get rid of that. I feel that is completely incorrect, Stuart. I know that you've been around much longer than that, my dude, and we appreciate all your support here at the page. I feel like Facebook's lying to us there. Alright, qualifying has just started here, so it looks like we're going to have 13 guys on the grid here today, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's get with it. Alright, let's get you guys some information here on the screen before I switch you over. So, you guys can see all the good stuff, of course. And let's flip you over. Alright, so now we're getting some stuff happening here. Now we got some stuff happening. Alright. So, who is our first guy out on track? It looks like it's Ted Trax Racing going to be first out on track. So, we're going to stick with Ted Trax Racing here, but we'll go through our field real quick. We have ETH Lead sitting here coming out second on track. We've got Keytops coming out third. We've got Nick in fourth place. We've got Darth Prince here in fifth. We've got Deathatron 105 in sixth. We've got Philantis in seventh. We've got Droopy Designs, our host here tonight, in eighth place. We've got Avalon in ninth. We've got Jim Dunny in 10th place. And we've got F1 Dennis here in 11th place. Strong, fast driver is this driver. So, if we're going to see anybody qualify really well, look out for F1 Dennis here today. But it's going to be interesting. We had that physics update, and I'm not sure what's happening here. We got some drivers just dropping off here. I'm not sure why. And we've got drivers jumping off track here. I think we might be resetting the lobby here, is what's happening. Oh, we have a car having a little chat with Barry R there in the slumber tunnel. So I'm not sure what's going on. Oh yeah, we got lots of T-Rex. We got the dinosaur liveries out on these Porsches here this week. We love seeing that. So yeah, I think we're having a restart here is what's happening. So well, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That means back to this screen right here. Let's go have a little chitty chatty a little further about our track today. Just give me a second to bring up my information sheets here, my commentator cheat sheets, as I like to call it. Did it not open it? Oh yeah, it opened it. No, it didn't open it. Oh, there it is. All right. My computer today, chat, is not working very good. So if the stream starts lagging today, I apologize. Oops, I need to record this as well. There we go. I'm not sure exactly what the dealio is with the computer today, but it does not want to cooperate. There we go. Alright, so let's see if we find a lobby here. So that is correct. Looks like we had to have a lobby reset there, so we're just going to jump back in. Now these drivers are in a chat, so this is done differently than a lot of leagues too, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give you a little bit of insight how things roll here at WSR, without giving away too much, obviously. But there isn't a live chat while these drivers are competing here in the WSR Porsche Cup, so it is mandatory that the drivers are in this chat, if I'm not mistaken. And there's no stewarding done by the game penalty systems, the flagging systems. It's all done by live race control. In behind the scenes, so we have live cautions, we'll have virtual caution cars. We haven't seen one yet this season, but the season's young. So we've had that physics update, we've had all these changes recently in the game. The drivers, some have adapted quickly, and some not so much. So it's made for some interesting league racing, needless to say. So qualifying is just back underway here again. They just hit the button to go. So I'm not sure what the dealio was last time, but we're right back at it. So let's get you back over here. All right. And it looks like it's going to be Droopy leading the way. So Droopy Designs leading the way here. Alright, so we got 12. We're still missing one here. Thought we had 13 to start. Alright, so we got Droopy Designs, we got Ted Tracks Racing, we've got Soul Invictus. Now some of us know who this driver is, as we do broadcast this driver in other series. We've got Nick here in 4th place, we've got Keytops here in 5th, we've got Avalon in 6th right now, we've got Lead in 7th, Deathtron in 8th, we've got Philantis in 9th, we've got Jim in 10th, and we've got 2 drivers still chilling in pit lane. Alright, so things are rolling again here at WSR Porsche Cup. Now this is season 5, ladies and gentlemen, and this is round 3, so very early in the season still, and the standings are done a little bit differently here than I'm used to seeing. So it's not something I'm going to display on the stream early on in the season here until I figure out the best way to display the way that they do the standings here at Porsche Cup. And it's just the way that they run, of course, the system here. So not taking anything away from the league, of course. It's just you got to figure out how to get so much information into a little screen that you guys can see it, is what the trick is. So we'll get it sorted out, though, as soon as we can for everybody. So Droopy Designs is going to take us around Seaside here for the official qualifying session here at WSR Porsche Cup Season 5 Pro-Am Division. All right, let's get going. So here we go, lap around DragonTrail Seaside. Now making reference to the map here, turn 1 is this little corner right here called Halex. That takes us into turns 2 and 3. The first chicane here is Hollow Bones. Now we come out of Hollow Bones, that then leads us up into Brood, which is this tiny little kink right here. And then, of course, this high-speed corner here, again, it's risk versus reward here is Dragon's Wing, and then that takes us into Hailstone. So after the wing flaps, the hailstones fall, ladies and gentlemen. That now takes us down into Drakiana. And, of course, an old-school town in the history. And then that takes us into Dragon's Lair. That's these uphill S's. The whole sector is called Dragon's Lair, and that's taken us into probably one of the more difficult sectors of the racetrack. Obviously, of course, the second chicane leading into the, or exiting out of this upcoming sector. So that takes us around that next kink, which is of course called Thunder, and then that leads us into Hydra. Here you want to clip that apex so you can get on the power as early as possible, but not too much power. Might push you out to the wall, or you might lose the traction on the back end of your car. And that leads us into this set of S's, which is Dragon's Breath, and then that takes us into the Feeding. This is where drivers really need to be woozy, and you can see why. A little bit sideways as Droopy comes out of the corner there, and that leads us into Chimera. which is this corner right here. And it's just a long sweeping 180 degree corner, and then it takes us up into the straightaway, and this last final little kink here, the final corner on the track, caudal fin struts. There we go, and now we're done on a lap around Seaside, and it's going to be a 38.5 for Droopy. It's going to be a 38.8 for Keytops. It's going to be Avalon with a 39.9. Where's Ted? Tracks Racing in 5th place here as he comes around. And it's going to be a 38, and it's going to be P2 for Ted Tracks. Deathatron moving up into 5th place there. We got lead coming around here right now. That's going to put lead up into 5th place. Where is Darth Prince now down into 2nd? We've got a little bit of confusion in my timing here, I think. Drivers are just really spaced out here apparently. So right now it's Droopy Design sitting on pole, Ted Tracks in 2nd place, we have Keytops in 3rd place, we've got Avalon in 4th, and then the rest of these drivers haven't put in a time from here on in. So 6th place, no time, no time, no time, no time. So we just gotta find which driver is where here. There we go. We've got Philantis coming around the final corner here. Fin Struts right now in 6th place. Let's see what he has as he comes across the line. It's a 38.8. It's going to be good enough for 4th place for him. We've got Dennis coming around here right now, and he's on an out lap, so that one is not an official lap yet. Deathatron here. He's getting there. We'll sit with him here in 8th place. He is purple, however, right now, and Droopy Design still sitting in pole position right now. But it's Keytops. Keytops just taking that from him there with a 37.673. So Keytops now sitting in pole position, but we're going to stick with Deathatron here as he comes around, and I believe Soul Invictus is actually just up ahead of him here as well. So let's jump on board with Soul here. This, I think, is going to be his first counted lap of the day here as well as he comes around. And it's an out lap, it says there on the screen. So Deathatron it is. Alright, so let's see what his first official lap of qualifying is going to be here, and it's good enough for 3rd place, a 37.958, so good lap there from Avalon. So let's try to find out where all these drivers are at in the field here. We're trying to find the one going through the feeding right now. There we go, it's Darth Prince as he comes out of the feeding a little bit sideways there as well. Now those curbs are pretty beefy in the feeding, aka the dash chicane. So these cars are light and low, so definitely going to unsettle these cars if you catch them just the wrong way. And we're probably going to see a lot of sideways Porsches here today in these short laps around the racetrack here. So let's see what Darth has here as he comes around. And it's not the ideal lap for him there. It's going to put him down into back right now in 11th place, which is ironic because some guys don't have times yet. So it's Ted Tracks Racing now sitting in pole position with a 37.603. Keytops very close in behind, less than a 10th. And then it's 3/10 to next driver lead with a 37.932, and then it's just a sliver from the 4th place driver Deathatron right now in 4th place. Droopy Designs, a little bit of a gap there. He's got to make some time up. Let's see if he gets an improvement here, and he does. It's a 37.8, and it's good enough for P3 now for Droopy Designs as he comes across the line there. That was a good lap. We've got Deathatron coming out of the feeding here right now as well, and he got a great run through there. This could lead to a very good lap time here. It depends on how that first half of the lap went and how he now manages this final corner, Chimera, pardon me, and the fin struts. So fin struts is usually no issue. You catch too much of that curb though, it can throw you across the racetrack, so you do need to be a little bit careful how much of that curb you eat on the kink there, but it is going to be a 38.1, so not an improvement there from him. Ted Tracks in pit lane, Keytops coming around. We got lead getting it all wrong there, coming out of fin struts, and he's eating a whole lot of wall there. Philantis is coming through. Who is ahead of him? There we go. It's Darth Prince here in 10th place ahead of him. So 41.911 was that last time around. Ooh, a little bit of a lag sideways there as he comes through the tunnel, and a little bit less speed than we've seen from Droopy Designs as he came through there. So let's see what he can do around this final corner. Get really early on the power, get good rotation there, a little bit of a slide. Gonna cost him a little bit of time there as he comes around, and then we'll see if we can jump on with whoever that was in behind there. And it's gonna put him up into 10th place, so A small improvement there. We got Soul in 11th. He's up in behind Ted Trax here right now. We've got Nick in 12th. I believe he's going to end up starting at the back of the pack here. Galantis up into 7th. We got Avalon in 8th. We've got Jim in 9th. We've got Prince in 10th. We've got Soul in 11th. And, oh, Nick's just chilling there. Okay, I got you. So we got Key Tops here right now in the pole position. So he managed to find just that little more time he needed to get ahead there. But F1 Dennis now there in second place. Key Tops, the first driver in the 36s here with a 36.9. F1 Dennis with a 37.1. Ted Trax with a 37.6. So the gap is for the third place right now on the two pole sitters. Ooh, a little bit of slipstream driving here. Let's see if you guys got outlap here. So if they can really lock this lap in, they might both be able to get up in the top two spots here if they work together nice and juicy there. We got lead coming through the feeding here right now, and again, just a little bit of unsettled from that chicane there, and just a little sideways coming out of the corner, but he keeps it underneath of him. No, it costs you time. I mean, it costs you time. The point you're trying to get through that corner is just to survive, so if you survive sideways, so be it. You get back on the gas pedal, you just keep on going. So this is an outlap here for him. Trying to find the drivers that are just getting past here. We'll sit with Deathatron here as he's coming around. I'm not sure who he's got up in front of him here. If I can see the livery, I might have a better idea, I guess. But there's a little bit of a gap between the two drivers. So we'll just sit with Deathatron here. Right now, Keytop's still sitting on pole. Dennis is still out. Tetrax is still out. Drupi's in 4th. He's got it parked at pit lane there. Looks like they're satisfied with their time. Lead here, 5th place to this final lap. So when he crosses start-finish line here, Deathatron will be the last time around the racetrack for him. So 37.9 is the best time for him on track here. Let's see what he's got as he comes around here. It does look like it's going to be close. Not quite. It's a 37.7 there. So, oh yeah, that was an improvement. Puts him up into 4th place. The game is teasing me here. So Ski Top's still sitting in pole, but we do have Dennis still on track here. And let's sit with Dennis here as he comes around and see if he can steal that pole position from Key Tops here. We got Sol Invictus now up into P3 as well. So it took him all of qualifying to finally get that lap in, but he finally got a juicy one in. It puts him up in the top half of the grid as well. He is purple here as he comes through the feeding, so 141, 142. He got a pretty good rip through there as well. So this could be a pole sitter time here as Dennis comes across the line. He has, I believe, it's Philantis up ahead of him here as well. Oh, he gets it a little bit wide there. That was sketchy. That was sketchy. Darth Prince goes to 38 flat. That puts him up into 8. Philantis is a 38.5, and Dennis does improve, but it's not enough for pole position. A 36.994 there from Dennis, so it is going to be Key Tops. He's going to sit and hold pole position 3/100ths ahead of Dennis, who's got 4/10 on Sol Invictus, who's got 2/10 on Ted Trax Racing, who's got 1.5/10 on Deathatron, who's got a 10th on Droopy Designs, who's got a 0.5/10 on Lead, who's got less than a 10th on Prince. And then there's a little bit of a gap, 1/2 second to Philantis, 3/10 to 10th place driver Avalon, and then some drivers just not having a great qualifying run. But the feature race is 18 laps. The drivers do need to use the Racing Soft and Racing Medium tires here today, so there is going to be a pit stop required for every driver. Now when they choose to make that pit stop, of course, going to be entirely up to them, but that stop does need to be made, and both tire compounds are mandatory. So strategy is going to come into play, and then once that race is done, there'll be about a 5-minute break in between. We'll talk a little bit more about the track. We'll talk about that feature race a little bit, and then we're going to do I believe it's an 8-lap sprint race, and that is just going to be a full send on Racing Soft tires, no fuel, no tire wear, and just your typical sprint race style thing for championship points to finish it all off with today. So 2 races on board here. The broadcast will be approximately about 50 to 55 minutes once this race starts. So welcome in, everybody. Hope we're ready. Should be a pretty good race here. I gotta be on the ball here. Alright. So, qualifying results here. We're just going to get some snapshots. Key tops in first, Dennis in second, Sol Invictus in third, Ted Trax in fourth, Deathatron in fifth, Droopy Designs in sixth, Lead in seventh, Darth in eighth. Ninth place is Philantis, Avalon is in 10th, Jim Dunny in 11th, and Nick there in 12th place. Alright, sending a little message there to the drivers. Got to tell them good luck. Got to go out there. Got to go have some fun. Of course, that's the most important thing here, as always, is having fun. How do I get rid of this? Alright, what do we think, chat? Who's got the win here today? We got Canadian on top. Ooh, I always get this wrong. One's Belgian and one's German, but I can't remember how it works. Alright, so as you can see on the screen in front of you, we're just waiting for some changes to be made here. Alright, well, let's talk about our racetrack here for a minute while they get things all homed in here. So, the length of DragonTrail Seaside, ladies and gentlemen, is 3.24 miles or 5.21 kilometers long. Has 19 left and right-hand turns. It is a tarmac road type. It is a original circuit and has an elevation change of 125 feet from highest point to lowest point. So, talking about the racetrack a little bit here, let's roll into our notes. Our notes are the colored numbered in red. Where there is a red circled number, there is a side note attached to either that specific section on the racetrack or that specific corner. So note 1, of course, turns 2 and 3 on the top left side of the screen there. Hollow Bones. Hollow Bones is a medium speed series of corners that offers great opportunities for overtakes. Traction can be a concern in turn 3 due to the cresting hill. It makes the car light when you get on top of that hill. If you're on the power at the wrong time, it can cause you to break traction a little bit, and that causes the rear end of your car, of course, to go a little bit sideways. And if it's lap 1, for example, that could lead to a bigger incident on the racetrack. So that takes us into point 2, Dragon's Wing, and that's turn 5 right at the top side of the track map, ladies and gentlemen. And note 2 is Dragon's Wing. T5 is a high-speed corner, but it is difficult to take flat out. Many drivers have tried to make this turn by cutting the apex curbing, but this has yielded various results. Not many have been favorable. And that is true. So, you catch too much of that curbing, it'll just throw you out wide, right? It tosses the car outside the corner, and then you end up in the sand trap, of course, on the left-hand side on the top of that corner. So the orange outlining on the outside edges of the track, of course, is sand, and then the green outlining is grass or artificial curbing. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of where the safety sand is compared to the higher speed sections, I guess, on the racetrack. And then that takes us into note 3 on the top side of the track map, but on the right-hand side now. Hailstone, turn 6. After Dragon's Wing, there's a very short straight, giving drivers a limited time to get the car straightened on the brakes for Hailstone. Hailstone offers great opportunities for overtaking. That's true. You can get position going into the corner, or you can get a really great exit and get that long run heading into the Dragon's Lair. Of course, the uphill S's from there. And that takes us into note 4. The Dragon's Lair is a high-speed series of turns, left, right, left. Drivers may need to adjust their speed before entering the Dragon's Lair. There is a few different lines for this section of track. Each line has its advantages and its disadvantages. And that is very true. There's multiple ways to get through that sector, but some are quicker than others, and of course racing situations do provide which line you take. Sometimes you can go 2x2 through these S's. It's a little bit difficult. It's definitely going to cost both drivers some time, but it definitely can be done because you do have different lines that can be taken through the corners without making contact with another driver. So that takes us into point 5, and point 5 is just at the end of Dragon's Lair there, turns 10. And between turn 10 and Thunder turn 11 is a plateau. Given the speed through these turns, if an incident should happen on the other side of the cresting hill, drivers may have little or no time to react to it. And that's a very good point, actually. So when you come out of the S's, you do come to a cresting hill, and it is a possibility that a driver can get a little bit wide on the final S on exit, trying to maximize that speed, catch a little bit of the sand trap, and actually spin their car sideways back down over the hill. So drivers coming in at about 150 to 155 miles an hour by the end of these S's might all of a sudden run into a car straight sideways right in front of them, and well, we all know what could happen then. We could have an epic crash on the racetrack at that point. So driver racing awareness is definitely got to be on point through this sector of the racetrack. And then that takes us down into the right hand bottom side of our racetrack, note number 6. And that's Hydra. And the brake zone for Hydra is a steep downhill grade. Drivers in a heated battle for position can easily overshoot the brake zone, resulting in understeer or even making contact with barrier. Drivers may also fight with traction while accelerating through Hydra. Expect to see many overtaking opportunities here, and that is true. It is an absolutely great spot for making moves here on DragonTrail Seaside. So it looks like we're going to get back to the action here now. So I'm going to flip you over to the big screen, and we're going to get to racing, ladies and gentlemen. So our feature event here is an 18-lap race today, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be racing soft and racing medium tires required. Pit stop is up to the drivers. Light them tires, fires, light them fires, kick them tires. Let's go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Can't even say my own catchphrase today. All right, so here we go. We are going to sit with our pole sitter, Philantis, apparently. Oh, Miss Devious named those corners. So that is who came up with the beautiful name for those corners. Again, based off some dragon mythology from Croatian belief systems. So some pretty great research went into those track maps, and I love this one. It's my favorite one so far, so that's for sure. So Dennis Oakland, a very quick pass here for first place coming out of Hollow Bones, and he is going to overtake Keytops there. So Keytops now in second place. He's going to tuck in behind. Let's get through here. Let's see what we see. We see one car damaged here. So Darth with some damage on that race car. We have Soul with some heavy damage here on his race car, and it looks like it was maybe those two involved in an incident with each other, perhaps. We did miss it though, so it is Dennis in the early race lead here, and Keytop's very close in behind, and then these guys got just a small gap, 1 second on the rest of the pack in behind, with Ted Trax Racing lead 80 here in 4th place. He's in that slipstream, just settled in. Oh, he's going to look inside here and try to get a move done. No, he can't quite make it happen as we come into Hydra there, but as we stated just a minute ago in the track map, a very great spot to try and pass. We got Deathatron here in 5th place. We've got Droopy Designs here in 6th. We have Avalon here in 7th. We've got a driver in 8th place, and here we go. So we're heading in to Slumber right now, the tunnel. And we're going to sort ourselves out as we head into Chimera. So another great ample opportunity to make a move here is coming into these final couple of corners. We're going to see some side-by-side action here between driver and who is that up in front of him? Avalon there. Driver I'm not familiar with yet. We're going to go 3 wide up the start-finish line here. Nope, one's going to settle in behind. So some pretty good racing action happening here so far. Philantis is going to go up the inside here as we head into Hallex. But that's going to put him on the outside going into Hollow Bones. So driver in the right position here. Driver's going to look for another position. Oh, and there's contact, and that is going definitely to be a caution flag here out on the track right now as these drivers come around, and that may potentially even lead to a safety car situation here. So let's see what happens here. MB on the road and back on it. Avalon here in 10th place. He's suffering from some damage here. Deathatron here in 11th. We've got Darth in 12th place, and Sol Invictus here in 13th. So pit stops made here by some of these drivers, and boy, oh boy, it's been a pretty crazy race start here so far. But it's Dennis here still in the lead. It's Keytop's in second. It's Lead in third. It's Ted Trax Racing here in fourth. It's Droopy Designs in fifth. It's Nick here in 6th place. Philantis now up into 7th. Jim Dunny here in 8th, and he didn't get involved in any of this, so he's just chilling right now. But he must have made an early pit stop here or something, because he is quite a ways behind the leader here. It says plus minute 51 there. I'm not sure what's going on. Our timing is really messed up here at DragonTrail today. Driver here, of course, with that incident, now in 10th place on the racetrack here. We've got Deathatron here in 11th. We've got Soul in 12th now, and Prince here in 13th. So field is very quickly spread out here. Good evening, how you doing, Jason? My guy Chris coming in with that thumbs up. Is Cody B coming in with that thumbs up on the stream as well? What is up, Paulie B? Love Misty Reese's track maps. I do too. They're a lot of fun. She puts a lot of love into them, so we appreciate all the effort she does with these track maps for sure. But right now, a nice little battle here. 0.6 of a second between Keytops and Dennis here in first and second place right now. And I'm not too surprised to see Dennis up front charging here. He's been very consistently battling for podiums here so far early on in the season. Keytops, a very strong driver as well. He's looking quite comfortable here so far early on in the race as well. Droopy Designs, our host here tonight, he's in third place, and he's got a nice little gap, 9 seconds to fourth place Philantis here. So interesting race start here so far. We've got 4th place and 5th place Philantis and Nick. They're nose to tail here, so it's probably in these two's best interest at this point not to battle and work together to try and catch up to those podium 3. They don't have a lot of time here. 18 laps is going to go by relatively quickly here in this race today. We've got Nick here in 5th. We've got Avalon in 6th. We've got MB Driver here, and the cameraman taking his time getting to him here in 7th place, and he's not too far in behind Avalon there. That leaves Jim here in 8th place, just 3 seconds in behind those drivers as well. That leaves Deathatron up into 9th. Ted Trax racing down into 10th place here, so it's all qualifying, but you can see the front end of that car's beat up a little bit here, so a little bit of trouble for Ted Trax Racing here early on in the race. Sol Invictus, much of the same thing, a little bit of trouble for him here early on in the race, and he's back on the charge. Lead here just made a pit stop, it looks like, so he's cruising, and Prince as well. Oh boy, I think he made a mistake, and he has some racing intermediate tires on there, so obviously probably not what he wanted to have put on the car there, but some IMs put on that race car there, and a little bit of bump from Keytops are coming in under braking, so going to be a battle for the lead here as it's side by side as we head into Dragon's Wing, and interesting little battle here. And you can see Keytops just played a smart there. He just backed off enough to tuck in behind Dennis here. We had a little lag spike there from Dennis up in front, from Keytops, sorry, up in front. So it's Keytops now in the lead, Dennis in second, and I'm not sure what happened there. I'm a little... Can we maybe get a replay of that? Gran Turismo, I want to help the brother out here. Okay. That lag spike had me a little confused there for a second. We have Philantis here in 4th place. We had Nick here in 5th. We've got Avalon in 6th. Don't mind me, chat. Don't mind me. Driver here in 7th. Now he's putting some pressure on here, but again, it doesn't. They were about 1.5, maybe 2 seconds apart at this point last time around the racetrack. Now Driver is tucked right up in behind Avalon here, putting some pressure on. So as we're coming into Hydra here, it's side by side, and is he going to be able to get the job done on the inside? No. Great defense there by Driver on the outside of the corner, and being able to maintain his speed there and just keep Avalon in behind him there. So Driver getting the job done coming into the feeding, but oh boy, I thought he got it all kinds of wrong there, and but he manages to survive. So Avalon doesn't manage to get a charge responding through the feeding there, and coming into Chimera, he's going to find himself about a half second in behind Driver here. So nice little move by Driver there. Keytops and Dennis still in first and second here, but Dennis definitely applying some pressure to Keytops here. Droopy Designs is just coming through the corner, 5 seconds in behind these two. Philantis here, he's 12 seconds up the road here in 4th place. We've got Nick in 5th. Not that far behind there. Driver in 6th place. We've got Avalon just still chasing. He's only 6/10 in behind, but I mean, we've only been gone for a few seconds. We have Deathatron here in 8th place, and he's got a gap. He's in no man's land currently. He's got almost 7 seconds to the 2 in front, and he's about 5 seconds ahead of Soul Invictus here in 9th place. So Soul has a 3-second gap on lead here in 10th, and lead has some pressure from Jim here. Jim's just within a second right now in 10th place. Losing some time here though is Jim now, as he didn't quite get it right there, and Ted Trax Racing here in 12th place. He's got a gap, and so does Prince. So finally got himself on the right set of tires here. Now he can really focus on trying on trying to gain some ground here. So maybe an unfortunate racing day for Prince there, but you never know. It's racing. Anything can happen. We still have 12 laps remaining here, 13 including this lap that these drivers are on. So the guys will settle in, they'll start to put their heads down, and they'll really start to turn some nice laps here, and pit strategies will ideally close these drivers back up a little bit here. So it's Ski Top's in the lead. He's got 2.1 seconds on Dennis here in second, 4.2 seconds on Droopy. So Droopy is slowly but surely getting closer to Dennis up there in second place. And then we got a big 13-second gap here to 4th and 5th place, Nick and Phalantis here. So the spread out field here, a little bit of shenanigans happening early on in the race there, and that really spread these guys out. So they all got some work to do here now, but Driver and Avalon here still chilling right now. Driver's done a good job of getting ahead of him, and now he's just maintaining a 1-second gap basically. So Avalon's doing a really great job of pacing him here right now as well. And sometimes as a leading early on in the race as a chasing driver, it's just good to let that other driver that seems a little racier or has more pace ahead of you, and just tuck in behind him and just try not to let him get away from you. And well, maybe you learn a couple things where you're lacking in a corner, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, at the end of the race, you've done a little bit of saving and got more race car underneath you. And maybe there's a battle there for him later on in the race to make an easy move. So maybe some strategy there, or maybe that's just me talking, speculating, theorizing. We got lead here in 10th place. We've got Jim in 11th. Ted Trax here in 12th place. And Prince is... Keytops is on him. So unfortunate day here for Prince. I feel for Prince here. As the leaders are gaining on him. And he probably has pace to be with the pack fighting here too. Just, some early on mistakes made in pit lane for that driver. And that's going to be... it's going to be a tough race for him here today, but he's there and he's still doing his thing. So we'll see if the leaders can actually make their way around him or not. Droopy's in 3rd place, 4.9 seconds, not really. I think it was 4.3 seconds last time around, so Dennis has done a little bit of work to gain that time back up. We got MB Driver coming into pit lane here now. We got Phalantis here in 4th, we got Nick in 5th, we've got Avalon in 6th, we've got Deathatron in 7th. Soul Invictus in 8th, and he's reeling him in here, 2.6 seconds, so he's closed up half that gap that was separating these two drivers a couple laps ago. So Soul Invictus now on the charge here. We've got lead now up into 9th place. MB Driver coming out of pit lane. That's going to place him down into 10th here. Jim in 11th. That's going to gain him a little bit of time there on that driver. Ted Trax Racing and Prince here are just in tough racing here today. With rough starts or rough strategy mistakes here early on in the race. Jason coming in with that share on the stream as well. We appreciate you, my guy. But it is Keytops right now, really holding the phone, and he has made his way around Prince there as well. So he has a nice little gap right now. Oh, Prince has gotten it all kinds of wrong there, and we need to get onto our 13th place driver here. Does he get it together? He does get it together. Ooh, scary situation there for Prince, and he manages not to get any damage from that either. So Dennis gets around him there with that little mistake, but that was a scary moment there from our boy Prince, as he had Dennis just coming up in behind him here. Oh, we just missed it. That is really unfortunate. I gotta be quicker on that replay button. Alright, so Keytop's in the lead, Dennis in 2nd, Droopy, where's our boy Droopy? Droopy in 3rd place. And these three are still within battling shot for sure. Depends on pit strategy, depends on little mistakes made, depends on a lot of things happening here for these three drivers. We got Volantis here in 7th place, and he's got 18 seconds to the podium right now. But he does have Nick right there, just 1.2 seconds in behind him here currently. Alright, so it's Nick here in 5th place. We've got Avalon in 6th. We've got Deathatron here in 7th. We've got Soul in 8th, and he is absolutely reeling in. Deathatron up ahead here, but we say it all the time. It's one thing to catch a driver, and then you got to find a way around that driver. So it comes down to the two drivers battling for that position and how much they want to fight for it at the point in the race that you're in. Each driver is different. And that's just the way racing is. That's what makes it so fun and exciting. We'll get back to that in just a second. Here we're just going to go check through our field. We don't want to miss anything too fun happening here. Nick gaining a little bit on Volantis there as they come through the feeding. Avalon gets through safe and sound. Ooh, Deathatron got real close to clipping that. And Soul's going to get a run. He may have actually just caught a piece of that wall there. As you can see, Soul is closing in here, and he's going to go immediately defensive as we come into Chimera. Great opportunity for Soul to get a cutback here. Let's see if he makes a move for it or not. Oh, he tried. He just could not get on the power there. As you've seen, he tried. He just slid that Porsche sideways. So he's going to have to tuck into the slipstream here and see if he can make something happen coming in or out of Hollow Bones. So let's see what happens here. We're going to come around turn 1. The little kink here. Alex. Is he going to make a look? Is he going to take a look? Nope, he's just going to sit in behind here. Let's see what happens. Great apexing here by Soul, and Soul's being very patient right now in behind Deathatron as they come out of Hollow Bones. So let's see what happens as we come into Hailstone. Great opportunity for a pass coming into Hailstone here. And he's just going to park it on the apex, so he's not going to give Soul a whole lot to look at here right now. As these two are battling. This is a battle for 7th and 8th position too, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning in, welcome in. We are here for WSR Porsche Cup Season 5, and this is Round 3 Pro-Am Division at DragonTrail Seaside. I'm your host tonight, GT45 Gaming. Let's get back to this battle for 7th place. Let's jump on board with Deathatron here, as he just has a mirror full of purple Porsche right now, and definitely knows that he's there. There's no disputing that he's there. You can look over here. Nope, yep, he's there. Look over here. Yeah, yep, he's still there. Pay attention as we come through the feeding here. Oh, I thought he was going to get it wrong again. A little bit of a slide, and look at the run that Soul gets again, and here we go. Soul's going to get it this time. I think he's got the speed difference here. Side by side are these two drivers as we head into Chimera. And here we go. You can see Soul is just going to send it up the inside there, and job done. So going to be a great move there by Soul Invictus. And let's go take a look at that one more time from our TV camera crew, shall we? So coming out of Slumber, coming into Chimera, side by side, Soul with the position. Cutback attempt there. I think that's what that was. He looked like he was going to try and line a run out there on Soul, but he just couldn't quite get the power down coming out of that inside line. There's a little dip in that corner, and you have to be patient when you get on the power. You get on it too soon, that'll always be the end result. So it looks like a return move coming here from Deathatron, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. And while we're watching one replay, we just missed another one. So this happened obviously before Hollow Bones. Obviously, again, he just responded back with Slipstream, slingshot engaged, and got his way back around Soul Invictus. But Nick down into 8th place here, so I'm not sure what happened to Nick there. Maybe a pit stop, so that actually moves Deathatron and Soul up into 6th and 7th, and if I'm not mistaken, Avalon's just tucked up in front of these guys here, so this is very quickly becoming a three-way battle for position here. So let's go take a look and see what's happening up front. We got Keytops coming into pit lane. Where's Dennis? Dennis is going to go around again. We've got Droopy. He's going to go around again. Volantis is 22 seconds behind, so losing time on these guys. So right now this fight really is in this mid-pack here at the moment. Ooh, a little bit of wall contact there from Avalon. That's going to mess up the line a little bit here. So let's see if these three drivers get the run coming through Slumber here. Just evenly spaced out right now. Not able no driver really able to gain one a little bit on the other here, but here we go, coming into Chimera. Let's see if one can get a run on the other here out of the 3 drivers. Right now it's looking like Deathatron. Oh, and we're going to see a pit stop being made here by Avalon, so that solves that little issue between those 3 drivers. Now it goes back between Deathatron and Sol Invictus. So battle continues on here between these 2 drivers, and this is still a battle for 5th and 6th place now, as drivers are starting to make their sequence of pit stops. And Sol's had enough. He's going to send it up at the inside in the hollow bones, but that's going to send him deep into the next corner. They're side by side on the exit. A little bit of contact maybe between the 2 cars, and it's going to be Sol Invictus getting out ahead there, as Fubar is going to, not Fubar, Deathatron is going to settle into 5th place there. So great little battle there, and then a vicious, bold move there by Sol Invictus. He really sent that in, and he had good response there from Deathatron, but just not quite able to power through on the outside there, and he's just going to settle it back in. And this battle, I'm sure, is going to continue on here. So Sol now up into 5th place, Deathatron into 6th place, and that was a healthy little battle right there between those 2 drivers. Nick here in 7th, we've got Avalon coming out in 8th, we got MB Driver in 9th, we've got Lead here in 10th place, we've got Jim in 11th, we've got Prince here in 12th, and a little bit of time now gained here, and we got Tetrax just getting some fuel in that car there, so you can see the fuel man doing his thing. Dennis just coming into pit lane here too, as these guys are going to definitely take some tires here. Great job by the pit crew. They're going to drop that car, and it is a tire only stop here for Dennis on lap 12. Key Tops is coming around. It's going to be F1 Dennis. It's going to come out ahead of Key Tops here by what looks to be about 2 seconds. So a little bit of strategy coming from Dennis there, and that leapfrogs him over at Key Tops for the lead of the race again here. What is up, D? Nolander coming in with that thumbs up on the stream as well. So strategy playing a role here for Dennis. This has got him 2 seconds in the lead of Key Tops. These 2 have been putting the pressure on each other all race long. Droopy Designs, he's just been chilling here in 3rd place, man. It's been a pretty uneventful race for him so far here today. Really, he just doesn't want to make the mistake, and if the 2 up front battle too much and make a big mistake, maybe he's close enough to try and take advantage of it. But he definitely needs to keep his head down and keep pushing forward. Philantis, he's a little bit closer to Droopy here now, within 5 seconds. So if he can really start to put the laps in here and put some pressure down, he might be able to get something to happen here. We got Deathatron now up into 5th place. We've got Nick into 6th, and now we've got Sol in 7th after making a pit stop there as well. So that puts Avalon just 1.7 seconds in behind him. MB Driver's 5 seconds in behind them, and then there's a bit of a gap to the 10th place driver. And then a little bit of a gap separating all these drivers from each other here currently. Looks like Tetrax's car getting a little extra work done here in pit lane as well before they send him back out. Howdy all, everyone is well. Well, I hope you're well too, my guy. Hope you got those headache problems all sorted out from yesterday. I feel your pain there, my guy. I know what it's like. We've got Dennis here in the lead, 2.6 seconds, so he's making time up right now currently on Key Tops. And there's not a lot of difference really between these 2 guys' cars, so I guess the bigger question is fuel going to be of a concern for Dennis with 6.5 laps remaining in the race here? Droopy Designs, he's coming around here in 3rd place as well. We got Philantis coming into pit lane. That may be just a tire stop here. We'll have to take a look. I feel like that is the strategy here today, is tires only, as it seems like fuel is just going to make the race distance here today. And there we go, we're going to get a fresh set of shoes underneath that Porsche, and he's gone. Lollipop man held him there just for a couple extra seconds. Hopefully that doesn't cost him too much there, as you can see Nick just getting ahead of him there. So the Lollipop man maybe slacking a little bit there. He might have cost his driver a second or 2 there. That could be crucial at the end of the race here. We got Avalon in 7th place. We've got Driver in 8th now. Sol, he is back in pit lane, and he's back on the road here in 9th place. So it's all falling apart there for Sol. Lead here in 10th place. Jim in 11th. Darth in 12th now, and with Tetrax's car being parked in pit lane here, getting some extra work done, it's positions gained for some of those drivers that didn't have the greatest start to the races here today. We've seen a little bit of interesting mixture of events happening. We've seen some incidents, we've seen some damage on the race cars causing some early pit stops, and then we've seen intermediates put on one of the race cars, creating an extra pit stop. So I'm sure that driver is going to be having some words with his crew at the end of the race here today. But it's been an interesting set of events here so far in the race today. Got Nick here in 5th. We've got Philantis in 6th. He's just 1.9 seconds in behind. We've got Avalon here in 7th place. MB Driver here in 8th. We've got Soul now up into 9th, and he's 7.3 seconds in behind the next driver ahead of him. Lead is 15 seconds in behind Soul. 11 seconds behind him is Prince. He's now up into 11th place. So gaining a couple positions there so far. We've got Jim here 2.5 seconds in behind, and oh, holy moly, that was some lag right there. I'm not sure what that was, but we need to go check all our drivers. That was a big spike. That wasn't him making a mistake. That was lag, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, update coming soon here from PD. Hopefully they sort this out a little bit, because this is progressively getting worse and worse here again in the game. It's getting a little tough to do league racing, especially on a steward standpoint. Philantis here in 6th place. We got Avalon here in 7th. We've got MB Driver in 8th. We've got Soul here in 9th place. We've got Lead here in 10th. We've got Prince here in 11th. We've got Jim here in 12th place, and we've got Mr. Ted Tracks. Doesn't look like they're going to get that car out here before the end of our feature event here. So after this race, don't run away, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a little bit of a break in between this race, but that's going to lead us into a short little sprint race. I believe it's an 8-lapper here today, and that race, I assure you, is going to be quite spicy. So you're not going to want to miss that. Droopy Designs up into P2, so Keytops has made a mistake here potentially, and there we go. So Droopy Designs is in behind Keytops, and it looks like Keytops fell victim to the feeding there. So moving slow as he's coming through Slumbered there, and Droopy Designs is going to get a good run. So I said he was potentially in a position to really take advantage of a big mistake from one of the drivers up in front of him, and point in case, he's found himself now into 2nd place here. So Deathatron's going to find himself into 3rd, and now Keytop's going to come out here in 4th place. That is not ideal this late in the race for Keytops, who was challenging for a potential race win there at one point in the race today. Nick is just in behind Philantis here, 1.1 seconds in behind. So we're starting to see some drivers close up here. MB Driver really starting to try and close up on Avalon here within a second as well. And then you can see Soul just in behind those guys. They're in 10th place as well. He is, nope, 9th place driver. 4 seconds back right now. So yeah, it's starting to definitely get close up here, but Dennis has a big gap here now in the lead. He's just got to hope he doesn't run out of fuel at this point with a few laps remaining. So in the lead, 16 seconds is the gap. Droopy is 16 seconds in behind. Now he was about 16 seconds in behind Keytops, and one mistake in the feeding, and he found himself sitting in 2nd place. So that possibility still stands here for the driver up ahead of him yet, or himself even, as far as that goes. But Deathatron now up into 3rd place here. Keytops is going to just try and push, obviously, now as hard as he can to try and gain any position back that he can. He's got 12 seconds currently to Deathatron in 3rd place. He's put on a fresh set of soft tires. He's topped up on fuel, and he is going to send this thing to see what he can do here. Philantis in 5th place with Nick still chasing here in 6th, right in behind. We've got Avalon in 7th, and MB was getting pretty close there, but maybe a little mistake made by him, and now he's got Soul Invictus on his case. So MB Driver has, instead of challenging, now playing defense as we head through Slumber here, and it looks like Soul's going to get the inside track here. So side by side as we head into Chimera, and here we go, battle on before 8th place. Soul has the inside line, but boy, MB Driver's really trying to hang it out there on the outside. He couldn't quite get down the power, and is that, ooh, Soul Invictus almost lost that car coming around the corner there as well. So this battle is not over. We're going to stick with this here, as he is going to be a response as we head into Hollow Bones. Now, he does ultimately have the best line if he can stay side by side with Soul here coming into Hollow Bones. Soul's going to tuck it up in front. Is he going to make a move up the inside here? No, he's not. He's just going to play nice. He's going to stay in behind Soul Invictus. Soul Invictus is now going to move up into 8th place there. So good little battle between Driver and Soul, and now Soul has his sights set on Avalon in 7th place in behind him. 14 seconds is the gap from Dennis to Droopy Designs. Droopy has 9 seconds from him to Deathatron. We're on lap 16 of 18. Fuel's getting sketchy in some of these cars. Key is really pushing it right now. He's shed about a second off of Deathatron up in front, but he is running out of time. Philantis 3.5 seconds in behind Keytops now, so that's a little incentive for him to push as he's really starting to open the gap up on Nick here right now. Nick's suffering from a little bit of damage here, so let's see what Soul's got here. As he has just gotten around Avalon. Let's see if we can catch any of that pass here. There we go. Fantastic job to our production crew there. And just coming out of the Dragon's Lair, heading into Hydra, he gets the job done leading into the corner. So great move there by Soul Invictus to move himself up into 7th place now. So back up to the lead real quick. Let's go take a look and see what we see. And ooh, Deathatron there almost making a big mistake. Philantis there in 5th place, Nick in 6th. We've got Soul now up into 7th. That's Avalon in 8th, and MB Driver starting to close back in on him. So I don't think that fight there is done here in that part of the pack yet. 12 seconds is F1 Dennis from Droopy Designs here in 2nd place. And lap 17 of 18, so not a whole lot happening here on the podium right now. Keytops 8.9 seconds from Deathatron, so now he's starting to open it up that time, but does he have the time? He needs to shave a couple more seconds off to maybe have a shot at Deathatron here at the end of this race. Avalon losing touch with Soul Invictus here a little bit, but boy oh boy, he has got a mirror full of MB Driver right now in 8th place in behind him. And where is lead? 17 seconds in behind. So really just this is kind of where the fight at the moment is here. It's Dennis in first, but he is losing time to Droopy here in 2nd place. He's going to start that final lap here in the feature race today, and in the lead still Droopy Designs here. He's in 2nd. He's definitely got a fuel advantage on Dennis right now. Of course, he obviously probably doesn't know that, and he has opened up the gap on Deathatron, so Deathatron maybe sipping a little bit here as he's coming up the track. But that, what does that leave for Keytops here now? Keytops is 8 seconds in behind. He took 4 seconds out of him on that lap. Where is that going to put Keytops here at the end of the race in comparison? Philantis still closing in on Keytops, 3.2 seconds in behind. And Nick is all alone here now. He shouldn't have too much to worry about here. Soul has a big enough cushion here now. He can make a small, very small mistake and still be okay. Avalon right now is the driver feeling all the pressure as MB Driver is within a second here and potentially setting up a final few corner move here at the end of this lap to try and get that position. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. We are going to sit with our race leader here, F1 Dennis. He's coming through Dragon's Breath and into the feeding right now, and it should be interesting. And a little bit of lag. You can see the lag in the lobbies as well as I can, ladies and gentlemen. So nothing again we can do about that. Just hopefully they sort it out with the next update. So it's going to be Dennis coming through Chimera and the Finstrut one more time for a race win here in our feature event today. So feature race win belonging to F1 Dennis here. Congratulations to him. It's going to be Droopy Designs, our host of the lobby here today. He's going to come in a very nice, comfortable 2nd place finish here. Looking like it was going to be a 3rd for him, but a mistake made by Keytops, and he was there to take advantage and managed to get that 2nd place finish. Deathatron, much of the same thing, and taking advantage of a mistake made by Keytops in the feeding, and he's going to find himself standing on that last and final podium step here today. And he's probably pretty pleased with that, I would think. We have Keytops coming around there, and it was 5.4 seconds he closed in there as he came around the corner there. So 4th place for Keytops. Philantis is going to come around in 5th. That's going to leave Nick coming through here in P6. Pretty good race here for some of these drivers. It was a pretty rough start for some of these drivers. Soul, he's going to come around here in P7, and this is one of the drivers very early on involved in heavy damage incident at the beginning of the race. Could come back with a top 7 with a 7th place finish. It's a pretty good result there for Soul, and it's going to be MB Driver just edging out Avalon there in 8th place. So Avalon just losing out there tonight to Driver right at the end. It's going to be a P9 finish there for Avalon. Lead's going to come around and bring it home here in 10th place. So top 10 finish here for Lead as he crosses that line, and it's going to be Prince, ooh, sliding his way around Chimera on the exit there as he comes up the racetrack. And he's going to be the final driver to take the waving checkered flag here around the racetrack today. Jim's going to finish up here in 12th place, and Ted Trax is still up in pit lane there. So not able to get that car back out here in our feature race. Good race drivers, GG, appreciate you. Chris, my guy, appreciate you. All right, so don't run away, ladies and gentlemen. That's just our feature event here. We still have a sprint race to bring to your live screens at home or at work or wherever it is that you're watching from. Again, this is presented by Wheelspin Racing, WSR Porsche Cup, ladies and gentlemen. This is their 5th season and it's round 3. This is the Pro-Am division, or Split 2. And I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. So we just watched a interesting feature race, to say the least. And now we're about to get into a very spicy sprint race. It's going to be interesting. The sprint racing and distance racing are two different beasts here on Gran Turismo 7. You have to consider tires, you have to consider pit stop strategies, you have to consider race pace and all these variables when you're doing distance racing. But when you're sprint racing and there's no fuel and there's no tire wear on, you're running on optimal tire and fuel conditions the whole time around the racetrack. So ultimately, you should be able to drive your personal best around the racetrack each time, in theory, which means that these drivers are just going to be full sending this sprint race. So we all know that that's going to create some spicy on the racetrack. All right, let's flip me back over to the screen here. Let's finish talking about DragonTrail while these gentlemen set up the sprint race. So the way this works now is the top 10 finishing order in the feature race will be placed in reverse order within the top 10 for the sprint race. The drivers that finished at the back of the pack stay at the back of the pack. And then it is a free-for-all to the finish line, basically, from there. So let's just finish going through our notes here. Now, we finished off with note number 6 at the bottom right-hand side of the track map there. The brake zone for Hydra is steep downhill grade. Drivers in a heated battle for position can easily overshoot the brake zone, resulting in understeer or even making contact with barrier. Drivers may also fight with traction while accelerating through Hydra. Expect to see many overtaking opportunities, and we definitely seen lots of attempts and battles going through Hydra there in that feature race. And that takes us down to point 7, right at the bottom center-ish of the track map, the 7 in red there. That's that whole sector we're going to relate to here. Dragon's Breath is a narrow, high-speed chicane. Drivers should think twice before trying to enter too wide. Do you have a death wish? If you manage to survive the Dragon's Breath, you head towards the Feeding. The Feeding is the deadliest chicane known to exist. Drivers from all around the world know this dragon is not a myth, and she's always hungry. So true, so true. And then that takes us into our final footnote here, our final point on the racetrack. Note number 8 at the bottom left-hand side of the track map, Chimera. Chimera seems like a simple turn at a first glance, but that's how it lures you into making a mistake, regardless of where you are in the Chimera turn. Like magic, suddenly traction disappears and reappears just as quickly. Drivers beware. Staged in the Dalmatia region of Croatia in Eastern Europe, this is a road course surrounded by the azure blue Adriatic Sea and a steep mountainside. The track is triangular with three sharp points, with a rich variation of sections, including ascents, descents, and a flat section along the seaside. Just a little bit of tidbit and a little bit of information here about DragonTrail Seaside, ladies and gentlemen. So there we have it. The sprint is going to be a barn burner. It is going to be crazy, chaotic, interesting, exciting. All those things all wrapped in one big little fun bundle of joy here at DragonTrail Seaside. So we definitely know for sure that we have at least one for sure victim going into the Feeding, aka Chicane of Death Chicane, in that feature race. So sacrifices have been made here tonight at the Dragon Trail, and a fed dragon is a hungry dragon. So Need we say more? The sprint race is going to be a little more intense. We're going to see a lot more intense battling. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more door-to-door racing action here, and yeah, it's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy. We're going to see drivers taking maybe a little more risk than you would normally see in, again, in a distance race, because it's a sprint racing situation. Yeah, it's going to be juicy. It's going to be quite exciting to see how all this is going to break down. And you can see the mountain, of course, right there in the picture in front of you, just on the distance on the track there. You got some clouds, some sunshine just peeking over there. And then you can see it off in the distance. This is a point when you're just coming out of the Dragon's Lair at the top of the S's here, and that takes it into the little kink there. I believe that's called Thunder, leading into Hydra. So, yeah, interesting racetrack. Needless to say, this is Hollow Bones right here, turns 2 and 3. Yeah, very technical racetrack. Seaside is. You know, everybody's generally, that is, the drivers are concerned about the feeding section more than any other section. But I mean, there's really any one of these turns is the word I'm looking for here, can definitely make you pay if you get it wrong. The curbing is not gentle here at Seaside. You really got to be careful how you use the curbing here. If you're going to use the curbing here, there are some flatter curbs which are designed for the cars to be flying over, and then there's curbing that's kind of not really designed for the cars to be driving over. It's more designed to keep the cars in the track limits than they are for the drivers to be abusing them. And curbs like that tend to unsettle race cars, make race cars jump in the air a little bit. You can do a number of things to these light cars. So these GT3 Porsches, they're very, very a mid-rear engine car, right? So they're very light in the front ends and the back ends. So the stability in the nose and the rear of the car is everything for control of these cars. And when you take that away, even for a brief moment, well, we've seen the end result of that. You get some pretty crazy crashes from it sometimes, and you get some really crazy recoveries from it as well. But nonetheless, you know, got to be careful which curbs you choose to use and not use here at DragonTrail Seaside. The S's can eat you up too. They really can. They really can. There's different lines through there, but you know, there's a couple of really efficient lines and a couple of trying to keep it on the track lines, and those really cost you momentum coming into Hydra, and yeah, leaves you really at bay for being passed. So 9-lap sprint. It was a 9-lapper today. It's a 9-lap sprint race here today. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out here today. All right, Paul coming in with that thumbs up on the stream. Much love, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Alright, so we should be kicking off here pretty soon, I think. It looks like we're just missing one driver now. No, I thought we were missing. I thought a couple dropped in here for the final race. So we're missing we're missing 2 of our drivers here this week in our Pro-Am allocations. So not sure how that results in points and whatnot, but again, it's a very intricate system they got behind the scenes here, and I'm still only just beginning to understand how they decide to splits and everything from round to round. So yeah, but it's no joke behind the scenes here at WSR Porsche Cup. Let me tell you, the staff here works vigorously behind the scenes and pretty much non-stop to keep things running clean and efficient here at the Porsche Cup Series. So a huge shout out, of course, to the staff behind the scenes for the league and the operations team. I see what goes on behind the scenes. They got a lot of work on their hands. They do a great job. Huge, of course, shout out to all the track officials and everybody involved at the racetracks that we beat up and abuse every other weekend here at Porsche Cup. We tear up some racetracks. We smash into some walls. We eat up some grass. We leave some rubber behind, and we leave a nice little mess for the crews to clean up. So we appreciate all their efforts, and of course all the volunteers behind the scenes. Can't do it without the volunteers. They really are the heart and soul of racing in real life and here in the sim racing community as well. Can't do it without the volunteers. So extra love to the volunteers. And to the drivers. We don't have a show if we don't have racers, right? So GG's to the teams, the sponsors, the drivers, the crews, and the families involved behind it. Can't do it without all pieces. So I think we're just getting ready to go underway here, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be flipping back over to our big screen here shortly. And huge thank you to Porsche. They make these incredible 911 RSR GT3 race cars for us to drive around on these racetracks here. Much love to them for providing the licensing and us being allowed to have some fun with some pretty incredible race cars. The Porsche 911 RSR GT3 race car, ladies and gentlemen, is a personal favorite of mine as well to drive around the racetrack. It is so much fun. It's a quick little speed rocket, and it just turns like nobody's business. So it's a fun car to drive. So I can understand why this series is very popular and lots of interest, because, well, the car is divine. Absolutely divine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sprint race time. So our top 10 is reversed on grid. The bottom half of the grid stays the same. 9 laps here, no tires, no fuel, soft tires only. We're at 3 reds, 4 reds, 5 reds. Kick them tires, light them fires. Let's go racing. We're green, and boy, oh boy, it's sprint racing time, and this one is going to be a spicy one. Hold on to your seats, chat, because this one's going to be a getter. So it is lead in the lead of things here. He was our 10th place driver, and we're 4 wide going through Holix here. Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. We're going to go 3 wide. No, lead it backs out a little bit. He's going to lose a whole bunch of spots, and oh boy, we got cars sideways. We got cars off the racetrack. We got cars trying to gather themselves back up, and everybody's still there. And everybody is still there. Fantastic. That was a pretty crazy hollow bone sector right there. Let's get back with it. Lead gets a little bit of a good early race lead going there. We got Nick in second place. We got Soul up into third place, and he almost got it wrong on the exit there. We got 2x2 between Driver and Keytops, and Philantis and Droopy Designs in behind here as we're heading into the Dragon's Lair. So here we go. A little point in case of how many lines there are through this corner as these guys are going to swap positions 2x2 coming up through the S's. Who's going to get compromised? Who's going to get the better run? We got 2 cars in behind. They got a great run. Are they going to be able to get around? We got 1 car going really wide coming out of the exit. Whoo, heading into Hydra. Here we go. How are these 4 wide, 3 wide coming into Hydra? There's settle back in 2x2, and here we go. 1 car is going to go deep in the braking zone. He's going to lose 3 positions, 4 positions right there. Oh boy, 2x2 as we head through Dragon's Breath. Now let's get up front and see what's happening here. Are we going to sort ourselves out coming into the feeding? Oh boy. Ooh, it's going to get spicy. That was an insane shot. Great shot by our camera crew. That was fun to watch right there, chat. One driver there with some damage on the rear end of his race car there. But other than that, it looked like everybody survived that absolutely crazy first lap feeding right there. Oh boy, you can feel the different vibes right here in this sprint race. Lee's trying to run away. We got Nick in second place. Soul Invictus is all up on his bumper here in third place, and he is on him as they head into Hallex. Is he going to make a move coming into Hollow Bones? We've seen Soul make a couple of moves here in the feature race, and he's going to go in on the outside. Can he hold it? Tiny little bit of tire contact right there between the two. He's going to back out. He's going to settle in behind, and he's going to re-engage at another point in time. So Soul Invictus settling back into third place there. Keytops closing in fourth place just in behind. We've got Prince here in fifth place, and he has the pressure from Dennis and Philantis just in behind. Dennis was our feature race winner. He's going to look up the inside coming into Hailstone, and great pass right there side by side. side as we head up into the Dragon's Lair. Coming through Drakiana, he's going to edge him out just as we get through Drakiana, and we're heading into the Dragon's Lair. It's going to be Dennis now up into P5. It's going to be Darth Prince in 6. It's going to be Philantis in 7th, and Deathatron right there looking for a better line through the S's here to try and get a run on Prince up in front. Oh, we got a car out, a little bit of contact. Great job there not to lose that race car after the contact. A great job there by Prince to keep that car together. He's going to lose two positions there, but great save right there by Prince as he hit a little too much curb on the exit of the Dragon's Lair there, so heading into Dragon's Breath, and all of these cars are much closer together here this time around. So every driver's on the same tire compound. They're all in the same car. This is coming straight down to driver skill here. And a little bit reverse grid action in the top 10 too, just to make it fun and exciting. Whew. I wasn't the race winner, but thanks anyways. Hey, what's up, Dennis? We appreciate you, my guy. Oh, here we go. Sol Invictus, and a little bit of contact. There's been some smoke coming from those drivers. We're going to tag that and go take a quick peek here. Once this settles out, let's go take a quick peek at what we just missed out there. Sol just, again, got a little too much curb there. And, ooh, got sideways, a little bit of contact to Dennis. Almost through Dennis sideways, or Nick there, sorry, sideways. And Nick is going to stay just ahead of Key Tops there. So, oof, I was fortunate there for Sol Invictus as he made that mistake, and he's up into second place. We got Key Tops now here in third place, and Nick is all over his business right now in that Porsche 911 RSR. Is he going to try and make a move coming through Hailstone here? No, he's just going to tuck up in behind, and he's going to make a run through the S's. That leaves F1 Dennis right here in fifth place, and he's purple right now as he's coming down the hill leading into the Dragon's Lair. So can he get a run is the question. We got Deathatron in sixth place with Prince right behind in seventh. We've got Droopy Designs in 8th. He's our second place finisher in the feature race there. We've got Avalon in 9th. We've got Ted Trax here in P10. We've got Jim in 11th. We got Philantis down into 12th place here. Now we got MB Driver a little bit off the pace here. In 13th place, he had some damage, so it does look like he went and fixed that damage, and that's unfortunate. It's going to be tough to make up that time in a short sprint race, but we'll see what he can do. Lead right now, 2 seconds up the road as he comes through the feeding there at about 132 mile an hour. Sol comes through at about 137 miles an hour, so Sol is definitely going to close up some time here on the race leader with that great exit through the feeding, and we're side by side in behind with F1 Dennis and Nick here. And it's going to be F1 Dennis getting the job done, so he's going to get the move done coming out of the feeding and grab himself another position. Let's jump on with Dennis here. And I think there was a little bit of wall contact there with Nick on the exit of the feeding right there, and that allowed Dennis to get the run in on him there. An easy move there for Dennis as he had that speed difference covered heading into Chimera, and still maintaining that position on Nick here currently in fourth place. So 1.6 seconds the gap between lead and Sol Invictus. Is 1.9 seconds between Key Tops and Sol Invictus. Dennis is on Key Tops' bumper here. These two were racing pretty good all feature race there at the beginning, so not too unfamiliar with each other here. It'll be interesting to see how these two navigate this little situation. And Nick right there in fifth place, he is just tucked up in behind, and he's sitting on a purple sector here right now, so definitely taking advantage of that slipstream here right now is Nick. Got Deathatron in sixth place, and he's doing a good job at holding Prince off so far, but Prince is right there just half a second in behind, and that's allowed Droopy Designs to start to close that gap up now as well. So battles all over this racetrack here right now as we head in through about the midway point of the sprint race almost here. So a lead here, in lead, 1.2 seconds up on Sol Invictus as they head through Dragon's Breath and into the feeding. So there we go. We're going to see lead get through. We got Sol Invictus through. Dennis is 2.6 seconds behind and through. We're going to see Key Tops follow through. So Key Tops has lost out to Dennis there. Dennis now up into third place. We got Nick through. We got Deathatron through. And we got Prince making a move here. So there we go. Battle on side by side as we head into Chimera. And there's Droopy Designs just in behind watching it all go down. Front row seat to this battle here. And it's going to be Prince just holding him off. A little bit of contact there, I think, coming out of Chimera, and I think Deathatron just backing off a little bit there, and that was a great save there by Prince, but battle re-engaged as we come up the straight into Hallex here, and we're going to go side by side as we head towards turns 2 and 3, Hollow Bones. So here we go. It's going to be side by side, and Prince has the optimal line coming in, but if he can hang it out there on the outside, Deathatron has the apex on the inside. He might get the better run here. Great side by side action there, and it's going to be, oh, we got a caution out there for sure on the racetrack. That was a very tough hit right there for Prince, and ouch. I'm not sure if that was contact there. They were doing a great job side by side there, and he just ate a little too much curb there, and got himself a little bit of a adventure ride into Barrier's realm. Getting that car back around quickly though and back on track, but there's definitely going to be some damage there, and that could be the end of his race here today. Avalon here in 12th place with MB Driver closing back in, so it is lead still in the lead of this race, but Soul Invictus is putting on a charge here on lap 5 as we're coming in through Dragon's Breath. They are nose to tail, and we're going to head into the feeding here one more time. Now, Dirty Air does play a factor here. Soul Invictus handles it like an absolute champ. Dennis and Keytop's just in behind, getting through no problem either. And all 4 of these drivers are getting very close together here nearing the end of this sprint race. So I think the things are about to finish off real spicy here. Let's see what happens. And Soul has been struggling getting on the power coming out of Chimera. He took it a little cautiously that time. He got a great run out of there. So we might see a move coming into Hallex here. And there we go. We're going to see Soul Invictus go up the inside of lead here. And he's going to be side by side as they come around Hallex turn 1. A little kink right here. Heading into Hollow Bones, though, does leave lead on the inside track of corner 2. And then Soul Invictus gets around coming into the corner. That's a great pass by Soul Invictus right there. Had a great move for the lead. Oh, and we got contact up in front there. We're just going to have to get back and see that, hopefully. But it is going to be Soul Invictus just getting the job done heading into turn 2 there and coming out of turn 3. And, Soul almost got it wrong there, too, in first place. So it's going to be F1 Dennis up in the second place. Keytop's in third. We got Nick in fourth. Lead down to 5th place. So definitely caught too much curb there and had himself a little incident on the racetrack and fall right off the podium there. That is a heartbreaker right there for our boy Lead. Droopy Designs in 6th place is right up on the back end of him, so he has found his way around. Deathatron now in 7th place. Prince here in 8th, chasing Phalantus in 9th, with Ted Trax just in behind here in 10th place, looking for that position. We got Jim here in 11th, we've got MB in 12th, and we've got Avalon here in 13th position. And you guys have no game sound. Alright, so Invictus here in first place, Dennis in second, we got Keytops here in third, we've got Nick in fourth, we've got Droopy here in fifth, we've got Lead in sixth, and it's a battle side by side here by Deathatron and Lead. So here we go, Deathatron looking for a position here, Lead trying to defend the position here as he has had a rough late part of his race here. He's going to defend that position coming out of Chimera. That was a great battle between those two, but it is far from over here as we're going to see these two go side by side heading into Hollow Bones as Deathatron is just tucked into that slipstream looking for a bit of a run here. We're going to go side by side coming into Hallex. Now Lead again has the inside part of turn 2, but if Deathatron can hang out on the outside there, that's going to give him optimal position into turn 3, and no, he cannot. Lead is going to defend that position yet again from Deathatron here in 7th place. So Lead doing a great job defending that 6th place position. We got Ted Trax here in 10th, Jim in 11th. We got MB and Avalon a little bit off pace here and in the back of the pack now, but Soul Invictus is in the race lead here, 7/10 over F1 Dennis. F1 Dennis did win our feature race just a few minutes ago. Keytops here in 3rd place and fell victim to defeating late in the feature race and falling off the podium there and finishing in 4th place. So he's looking for a podium finish here for sure in this sprint. We got Nick here in 4th place, and he's having a solid set of races here today. Droopy Designs as well in 5th place, but he's starting to get some pressure here back from that 6th and 7th place battle happening behind him between Lead and Deathatron. So ideally for Droopy right now, he wants to see those two keep battling in behind him and costing each other a little bit of time just to give him that extra little bit of breathing room. We got Phalantus here in 9th place, and he's starting to reel in Prince a little bit here as well, up ahead of him in 8th. Ted Trax in 10th place with Jim 5.7 seconds in behind, and then a couple drivers a little bit off pace here for whatever has caused that, of course. You know, incidents on the racetrack happen. Dennis Miller coming in with that thumbs up, Ian coming in with that thumbs up, and the share on the stream as well. We appreciate that extra support, my guys and gals out there. Hope everybody's enjoying the broadcast. Oh, and a huge mistake here from Soul Invictus on the racetrack as he goes headfirst into the turn 2 wall right there. And we're going to have to go take another look at that and see what happened there. And, oh, just locking up the brakes coming into the corner. And going to be P3 here right now, but now he's got damage on that race car. So Dennis now in the lead of this race. He's got a second on key top. Soul Invictus still just in P3 here, but only 1.2 seconds ahead of Nick. There's still 1.5 laps remaining in this race, and the driver ahead has damage. Droopy Designs here in 5th place might be able to take advantage yet. Lead in 6th. We got Prince in 7th. We got Philantis in 8th. We got Defatron in 9th. We got Ted in 10th. We got Jim in 11th. MB Driver here in 12th place, and Avalon chasing here in 13th. So absolutely crazy series of events here at the Dragon Trail today for WSR Porsche Cup Season 5 Round 3 Pro-Am Division. And now it's Dennis handed a race lead here due to a mistake by the driver in front. So not sure what happened there, but Dennis is going to be like, thank you very much. And now he's just trying to hold key tops off here for one more time around this racetrack to finish out the sprint race here in back-to-back wins today. We got Soul Invictus in 3rd place. He's still got that damage. Nick is closing in here. Does he have enough time? We'll have to wait and see. Droopy Designs is right there. He's closing in as well. And then everything's starting to spread out. We got Philantis and Darth Prince here. Philantis has gotten around Prince here, I believe. I believe that's the situation at hand. Or Prince is reeling in Philantis, whatever the case is. He's definitely heating up all through the field here. So turns 2 and 3, we've got Dennis and Keytop separated by a second. Soul Invictus is only separated from Nick and Droopy by 1.1 seconds. So things are starting to tighten up here in the front side of the pack. We've got Philantis and Prince very close together here as well. So little battles all over the racetrack here to finish this thing off here today. We've got Ted Trax and Jim having a battle here. Ted Trax is just right there, just off of Jim as well, looking for that P10. MB Driver here in 12th and Avalon in 13th. So let's get back up to Dennis here as he's heading into Hydra just after Dragon's Lair, and I believe Thunder it is, a little kink. And he's still in the lead, but Keytops is definitely closing in here. Ooh, making contact with the wall there was Keytops, so that's going to cost him some time. And time that he's running out of here is that we're running out of corners in the racetrack. The feeding is going to be a crucial sector for all these drivers coming through. And it looks like Dennis got a good run there as that time gap is growing on Keytops. It definitely looked like he had a good run through there as well. So let's see what happens here. You never know what can happen. Anything can happen until you cross that start and finish line. So it is going to be F1 Dennis here. Back-to-back wins in round 3 for F1 Dennis. It's going to be Keytops coming here in 2nd place. So congratulations to those two drivers. Soul Invictus is just going to hang on to P3 here. And very fortunate for that driver as he took a massive hit into the turn 2 wall there. That's going to put Nick and Droopy Designs here in 4th and 5th place. So great racing by those two. Droopy just not quite enough time to reel him in. It's going to be Lead in 6th place. It's going to be Philantis in 7th. It's going to be Prince here in 8th. Deathatron almost getting it wrong there as he comes out. He has to gather that car up, and now he's just going to swing it back and forth all the way across the line here. It's going to be a 9th place finish for him. Tense moments here at the end of the race for him. We got Jim here in 10th place, and he can't, he doesn't have a whole much room there. He's got 10 tracks right in behind here in 11th place. Coming across that line there, MB Driver is going to round out here in 12th place, and then Avalon will round out the field here in the sprint race today. And that was a little intense, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say. The sprint races are always so much more packed full of action. You really got to be on the ball as a broadcaster, try to catch everything that's happening on the racetrack. And then we've got Avalon coming through here. He's going to finish off the race here today in 13th place. So it doesn't matter where you finish on the racetrack. Points are points, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very early on in the season. The physics update coming very early on in the season. A lot of damage on this driver's race car here today too as well. So a bit of battle here for Avalon in the sprint race today, but he's going to come across. He's going to bring that car home in 13th and take that checkered flag. So GG's to all of our drivers. That was some great racing there. That sprint race, as always, never disappoints. So it is going to be a race victory for F1 Dennis here again, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, proving to be the driver to beat here in the WSR Porsche Cup Pro-Am splits. So it is F1 Dennis here with the race win and the fastest lap with a 37.076. Going to be Keytops in 2nd, Soul in 3rd, Nick in 4th, Droopy in 5th, Lead in 6th, Philantis in 7th, Prince in 8th place, all unofficially, of course, until everything is done via stewarding, and then everything will be official later this week. It's going to be Deathatron here in 9th. It's going to be Jim in 10th. It's going to be Ted Trax Racing in 11th, MB Driver in 12th, and Avalon here in 13th position. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some spicy racing action here from WSR Porsche Cup today. And a little bit of a shocker of a feature race here today, to be honest with you. I actually really expected a fairly tight race for the majority of the race, but typical of turns 2 and 3 here at DragonTrail Seaside, it created a little bit of shenanigans, and some cars paid the price for it, and then just drivers battling the racetrack, making little mistakes, creating spins, creating half spins, paying at sacrifice to the feeding for the Croatian people here. It all adds up to time lost on the racetrack, and the drivers that made it through safe and sound in the feature race ended up with good result. The sprint race was a whole different beast. The sprint race is just full send, full grip, low fuel, and really the only thing you got to worry about is not making a mistake and not taking anybody out at that point. And those races always provide a lot crazier action. So, GG's to all the drivers involved, to all crazy racing. You never know what to expect here from the Porsche Cup, and this season has been a spicy start to the season so far. So what can I say, but we'll be back in 2 weeks time, ladies and gentlemen, for the next round. I'll give you an exact date in just a second here. I'm just trying to thank our host for being awesome. Droopy Designs, we appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate all the hosting that happens. To all our in-race control officials during the races, we appreciate you guys taking the time to make sure everything is right and square on the racetrack with our drivers. So, what happens now, ladies and gentlemen? Drivers have 24 hours or 48 hours, maybe even, to obviously present the incident reports to the stewards. The stewards then take the time to look at them. They go through a pretty rigorous process, and then they'll release some official standings. So it takes about a week here at Porsche Cup with so many drivers, lots to look at usually. Recap, again, feature race, a little bit dry. It just got spread out quickly due to self-inflicted incidents for the most part. We've seen some great battles and some great moves in the feature race, but all the action definitely came down to the sprint race this weekend here from WSR Porsche Cup. So sprint race provided everything we expect to see from a sprint race. It provided a lot of crazy, tight, hard racing action, and just great job to all the drivers. They'll put those Porsches on the trucks, they'll get them to the airport, they'll get them on the planes, and they'll get them ready for round 4, which is, if you give me uno momento, I'll tell you is where we're going in 2 weeks time. All right, round 4, ladies and gentlemen, we do head to the Americas. So round 4 is going to be held at a great racetrack over in New York. It is Watkins Glen on April 30th. However, with that being said, unfortunately, I am moving that weekend and will not be able to bring this great race to you guys live, potentially, but we are going to see if Nolander Gaving will cover the race for us here for round 4 for that, if in that case. But of course, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little closer in time. So stay tuned to the GT45 Gaming socials for updates on what's happening with me moving and everything as well. We're going to be making a little announcement pretty soon just to let everybody know what to expect from the page in that time frame here, but that doesn't mean we're going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. It just means real life has to interfere a little tiny bit with what we do here, and once we're back at it, we're going to be back at it full force again. We're going to be bringing a lot more content to everybody, not necessarily more commentary, but we're definitely going to be bringing more content. So again, huge love to these Porsche drivers. Fun car. I'm kind of jealous I'm not racing in the series, but I do enjoy bringing it to everybody's big screens at home live so that the drivers can display their skill on the racetrack for everybody to see. WSR Porsche Cup. Again, the presenters here. This is Season 5. This was Round 3 at DragonTrail Seaside. And it was a 18 lap, feature race followed up by a 9-lap sprint race. So, for those of you that are watching later via recording, we appreciate you. For those of you that tuned in and are still hanging out here live, we definitely appreciate you. The likes, the shares, and the comments, always appreciated. They just help us grow as a creator and as a league, so every little bit helps for free. We appreciate you legends out there watching at home, and we hope everybody enjoyed the racing action here today. So April 30th will be our next round, round 4 at Watkins Glen here from WSR Porsche Cup. And if we're not live here at GT45 Gaming, we'll be live somewhere else. The Pro-Ams will get that coverage, and we'll make sure you guys know where to find that race in 2 weeks' time. Stay tuned a little bit later this evening. We got something else coming up here a little bit later as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Stay winning. And remember, folks, you all matter. And we'll send you off with a little bit of beats before we say goodbye. For now, that is. Love you. Appreciate you. New week, new starts, new day, new goals. Let's go get them. Let's beat them. And let's continue to move forward, ladies and gentlemen, in our path of life. Stay positive, because that's really the only thing that matters. Hey, appreciate you, Nolander. We'll be chatting soon, my dude, as soon as I get a little more details.